Hello and welcome to the Enterprise Suite Customer module demo. The first screen we see, obviously in the Customer module, is a left-hand menu where we can do new prospect, new customer, new quote, new order, all that kind of stuff, and to find a customer, to find a prospect, to find an order, and also a tools section with a bit of credit control, batch document printing, and obviously a few other things we'll go into later. We also have a workflow menu here in the center, so if I wanted to do a new quote, I could click on that button there, or that one there. So I think the first thing to do is actually have a look at the customer account. Okay, so let's go into customer. Okay, when I click on find customer, I'm presented with a list, and obviously this list you can click on any column to sort on it. I could grab a column and group by it, or grab by multiple groups. Effectively this is like a wildcard search, so if I type toy in there, it can bring up all the records with toy in them. I can see obviously I've got active customers at the top here. My customers, if it was just wanted to restrict people to my customers. Inactive customers, obviously ship to details as well. We also have an advanced search at the top here, so you can sort of do a multiple kind of field search if you wanted to. Let's have a look at a particular record. Okay, so double clicking on it opens it up. What you can see here is the name and address of the customer. We have a custom field section, and obviously this custom field section has only been left blank really because you can drag and drop fields off anywhere, but it's meant for customers to be able to set up fields themselves and drag and drop them onto the form. Things like a date, a number, a pull down, whatever kind of fields you want basically. And in lots of forms around the system we actually leave these blank, so you can actually decide what you want yourself. We've got recent history, so what kind of orders, invoices, quotes we've been doing. Trading information, like what's the balance on their account, how much have they got on sales order, what's the total, what's their credit limit, what have they got left to spend. And we also got sort of tags as well, so we can tag the records if we wanted to. That's talked about more in CRM. Okay, along the bottom here we've got contacts. Okay, so we can have as many contacts as we want against any particular customer. We've got a notes section, so obviously we can add notes as and when we want to. If I open a note that I've already done here, you'll be able to see it obviously date and time stamps it whenever I did it, the person that did it, and obviously the contact it's assigned to and whatever the note's about. Activities. Okay, so these are all the things. There's a little zoom button over here which I can use to zoom it up a bit to show it in more detail. And activities are things like callbacks, calls, meetings, to-dos, cases. It's a kind of history of what's been going on. So if you just have a general conversation with someone, obviously you might not want to log it, but anything that's important, then it's worth noting it, because anyone else that comes and looks at this customer or prospect account can actually see what's been going on. And obviously just to open one up, if I just open that particular one up, I can see it's a meeting. I can see, okay, let me just go through the quote, who's attending that meeting. Okay, just the admin user. Yeah, great. Okay, I can see what's happening with that. I can look at it from a timeline point of view. I can look at it from a month point of view. I can look at it from a kind of working week point of view, or just a list. Same with cases. The activities includes cases, but this is just for cases. So these are outstanding cases or problems actually on that this customer has at this moment in time. You've got a little filter across here as well, where you can actually say I don't want to see the completed or cancelled ones, or I just want to see a particular date range, or I just want to see things assigned to me or my team or list or whatever. Opportunities. So these are all the opportunities that are outstanding, or the historical ones. The filter set to show historical ones as well. One thing you can put out on here, obviously, like this is the contact name or whatever, and the stage. You can actually group by any box. So you can group by the stages of opportunity or whatever, and you can obviously do that the same with activities as well. So if I group by box and grab the type, for example, I can split them into calls, callbacks, cases, and meetings quite easily. Emails in and out. The standard system kind of works on a POP3 type basis. So all the emails that you send via kind of like for statements or purchase orders, whatever it is, if they're tied to a record, they'll actually show here. If you want to see emails in and out the system, then you're probably better off going with the Exchange link plugin, because that will actually kind of link to your Exchange account. Okay, so documents. You can attach as many documents, images, spreadsheets, or whatever against this particular customer or prospect as you want to. And wave activity just tells me, right, so we've been doing email shots and fax shots and letters and call lists and all this kind of stuff. What have they actually got? Yeah, so they've obviously been a member of, they've been called, they've been emailed, they've been called, they've had a letter, and I can see what kind of marketing stuff they've had. Okay, so if I zoom that down again, you notice there's other buttons along here as well. So things like I can do a quote, I can do a sales order, I can do an invoice directly from here, I can create a new contact, a new note, and directly from here. And the advantage of doing it in this form is that when you actually click on do a new quote, for example, you can see it's put their name and address in already, yeah, down here, and the default ship to which can change, yeah, but I'm straight onto the items. Okay, so I'll come back to quote in a bit. Okay, across the top here. Well, obviously we've got kind of customer type, which is obviously user definable. I've just put as end user. Are they on credit hold? Are they active? And allow back order. So when you do a sales order, if you only part ship, then the tick allow back order means that it will create a back order for the difference, and obviously we'll try and ship it separately. Okay, so the setup. What currency do we trade in with them? What's their credit limit? What payment terms do we have? And what you'll notice is there's a group, rather than just to sort of say there's a payment term, 30 days from document date, or whatever it might be, or payment on order. We actually have a group, so it lends itself to e-commerce. Obviously, we have an e-commerce module where the actual user can be on, let's say, the site or whatever, and we could offer them to pay by credit card. We could offer them to pay them by payment on order or whatever, or pay on their account if they've got enough credit limit. So it's just a way of grouping together types of payment. You'll notice down here that you've got a shipping method group, and that works on the same basis. So you might say to if a customer's non-UK mainland, then you can offer them like 2-day, 5-day, or whatever, but you can't really offer them next day. What this allows us to do is kind of group together options of delivery for a customer as well, rather than just sort of say, oh, stand delivery charge, that's it. Your delivery methods as well, by the way, can be done on weight, it can be on an order value, as well as obviously just a kind of standard charge or whatever. Which warehouse do you want to link to this customer? This is good because obviously when you do a sales order for them, that's the default warehouse that will come up. Because if they're in London and you've got a London warehouse, well, it'd be better to ship from the London warehouse rather than kind of ship from your Manchester warehouse. And that can be tied to the ship to as well. Yeah, a bit like a lot of these things. But if I change any of these, they'll give me the option to change them on my delivery addresses as well, if I wanted to. Okay, where do they come from? Who are they assigned to? The default delivery address. Who's the mailer contact, the default mailer contact, and who is the actual default accounts contact? Yeah. And we have the ability to do service contracts here, which I'll show you in a minute, and just which is the default one. If we're doing like a case or whatever, who's our sales rep, who's our team, who's our territory, yeah, that we're assigned to this particular customer. Is there commission available? Yeah, okay. It's based on the sales rep commission. It could be based on a special customer commission or whatever. Is it head office? Or is this linked to another customer account that's a head office? Okay, so we have the VAT registration number and the current registration, and we also have kind of a ranking. Yeah, so and this rank is based on numerous criteria. Like on what percentage of the overall sales orders are they, what percentage of the overall debt are they outstanding, and also what percentage of the overall turnover are they. So it's just so if you ever kind of have limited stock, you could obviously use that as a gauge to sort of say, well, I'll give stock to my best customers first. Across here, you've got like an email setup. So whenever you do an order or a quote or whatever, the contact that you assign to that, it would use their email address if you wanted to email it off. But maybe, for example, that quote goes to an order, then it goes to an invoice, but the invoice needs to go to someone else. So what you'd say there is then, well, you pick the invoice layout and you'd say basically that always needs to go to this email address, because that's obviously the accounts one, whereas the quote and then maybe the order and the order acknowledgement may go to the actual contact you're dealing with. Okay, so let's look at contact. Okay, so the contact tab is when you look at notes, activities, and everything else, it's just to do with that contact here. Okay, the general one, when I look at the notes and activities and everything else, is across all contacts. So if I want to see everything that's going on, yeah, obviously I'd look here. But if I want to look at specifically what's going on with a particular contact, I'd look here. Okay, things on here, obviously, like you can have a separate name and address. You can have a separate phone number, fax number, email address, and a mobile number. You've also got things here to say OK to call or not OK to call. So if you click on that, yeah, that'll if I wanted to do a call list, that would exclude them. Yeah, and obviously if they said I don't want any more emails off you or whatever, then obviously you can mark it, yeah, as not OK to email. All right, let's have a look at pricing. Okay, so we have as default a wholesale and retail price on a stock item, or for each service item or whatever, and that's our very simplest way of pricing. Yeah, you either get the retail or the wholesale price. Okay, but maybe you want to kind of add some complexity to that. Okay, so we have like another option which is markup on last cost price, last price paid, or a price list. Okay, so if I look at this particular price list, obviously you pick a price list from a list. You can decide on here to put as many items as you want, all items or just a few items or whatever. You could just simply put a price in here, okay? Or what you could do is you could say, well, I want to look at the unit of measure and I want to look at quantity breaks. So if they kind of buy 1 to 100, they get them at £9. If they buy over 101, they get them at £8. Yeah, and you can also, yeah, do it by the different units of measure. So you can have different quantity breaks by different units of measure. So there's nothing in here for cases. Yeah, but if I sold, let's say, 10 cases at the moment, yeah, it would say, well, 10 cases is 1050, so that's 500. So because there's no specific quantity breaks on cases, yeah, it would just look at the default, yeah, each, yeah, and it would say, well, that 10 times 50 is 500, so that would come into these prices here and give them £8, a kind of £8 each or whatever. You can export this, yeah, price list to Excel. You can manipulate it. You can bring it back in. Yeah, obviously you can just export the template if you wanted to, you know, to actually bring them in there. Okay, so we also have a band discount as well. So we could have an overall discount, just applied to everything, or we can have a band discount, which basically allows you to set up a band discount in stock across each category, and then you could give them a different percentage off each particular category. Which is quite good. So that's on top of your whatever price they get at the end. Then obviously that percentage discount's added. We have customer part codes. Yeah, so if I pick on an item, I don't know, let's say 19-inch Super VGA monitor, and I could say, well, their code is 1234. Yeah, and their description is 19 SVGA or whatever. Yeah, so when we look at an order, and a delivery note and all that kind of stuff, it will show our stock code and description, yeah, but it will also show their stock code description underneath in brackets, so obviously they can reference it easier. What we also have is special pricing. Okay, so this overrides everything, so it doesn't matter what's on the price list or what's on, whether it's wholesale or retail. If something's in here, then basically that's the price that'll apply. And again, you've got the quantity breakdown, yeah, if you want them, yeah, or you could just simply just put a price in here and that's it. Okay, so we've got the next tab is analysis tab. This just literally gives you a kind of visual display of, you know, the turnover, you know, profit, sales, and returns values, yeah, for each particular the last 12 months, yeah, going backwards, rolling backwards. So it looks at the month that you're actually in, and that's always the last month. Yeah, and these are just going backwards each of these months. You can see sales transactions in the same way. And we've actually got a kind of transaction tab as well. These are all the outstanding orders. Drill down on everything. Yeah, so I can see what's on that order. So that's a quote, sorry. Yeah, so I can see all my outstanding quotes, all my outstanding orders, all my outstanding invoices, as well as obviously my history. So if I just say all, yeah, that'll give me them all. But if you look at the ledger, this is everything: invoices, credit notes, receipts, void receipts, or whatever. You can drill down on any one. If I look at this one, for example, that's a date, that's the invoice date, that's the due date, that's the customer order reference, that's the sales order reference, that's the currency amount. So if it was in euros or whatever, yeah, that'd be the euro amount. That's the base currency amount. That's how much is outstanding. That's how much is outstanding in base currency. Is there any settlement discount? And you can see here that this one hasn't got a cross on it, so that's actually got some documents behind it. So you can actually scan a delivery note or a spec sheet or whatever it might be, yeah, and you can actually open those up and see them. Is it in dispute? Yeah, the reason it's in dispute, so you can just write whatever you want, and if it has been paid, and here you've got open open, closed, or just all the transaction history. So as default, it just shows the outstanding. Okay, we've got recent sales tab. This is like telling us what they've bought recently, or whatever date range you want. It also says to us that people buy these items, yeah, also buy these items. So if you're talking to them, ask them about these items as well. Buying history. This is quite nice for noticing trends, yeah, because what this is doing, it's saying, okay, over the last 12 months, yeah, is it roughly staying the same? Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? We just have like a traffic light system, yeah, that basically says if it's on the increase, fine. If it's similar, fine. If it's 20% less or something, then show it as amber. If it's more than 20% less than they did the last 12 months, then obviously, yeah, show it in red. Yeah, just so you can highlight particular trends and say, oh, hang on a minute, they usually order like £1,000 a month's worth, yeah, but suddenly it's been going downhill and now it's gone to kind of zero or whatever, yeah. And you can also see this is invoiced stuff or actually on the sales order as well. And here you can see quoted items, things we've quoted them on, yeah, and again try and upsell them. Okay, the credit receivables tab. Okay, this is what you usually look at when you are debt chasing. Yeah, so I'll show you it here. It gives me some basic information, yeah, of what's going on. Any notes, overall notes. Yeah, if I zoom this up a bit, yeah, this is all the outstanding receipts, credit notes that are outstanding. Yeah, I've got a aging across here, so I can look at in the customer currency or my home currency. I can look at it by due date, document date, or calendar month, and I can also specify whether I want these columns of aging to be 30 days or 120 days, whatever it is. Yeah. So usually what you do is sort by the biggest and oldest debt first. Yeah, obviously that's this one here. So you can see that's obviously my biggest, oldest debt. So let's say I'm on the phone to the customer. Have you got invoice 248 and 247 and 246? Oh no, I've not got those. Okay, so I'll just tick them here. Yeah, I'll go to my kind of copy invoice button here. I'll say, right, I'll email it to you now. Your address is info@toycustomer.co.uk, yeah? Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so you should have those now. Have you got them? Okay, brilliant. Okay, can you tell me when you might pay those? Okay, so he's going to pay them by the end of the month. Okay, so I'm just going to update those transactions, yeah, and say end of the month. Yeah, so effectively now what I've got is a payment promise date against those. Okay, also you might have a transaction. They say I can't pay that one because the box was broken, yeah, or something like that, or I'm awaiting a credit, yeah, whatever information you want to keep basically. Okay. But means at least when I come next time, I can actually see why that might be a problem on that one and obviously resolve it. And because it's in dispute, I can ask for a list of outstanding in dispute transactions, yeah, and go about solving those. Okay, so that's the credit control type tab. Ship to list. Obviously, this is all my delivery addresses. Obviously, I can have as many as I like. And if I open one up, what you'll see is I've got the name and address of the delivery address. Custom fields again, what's been happening here. I've got contacts, notes, activities and emails and documents to this delivery address. Yeah, and I've also got with the delivery address payment terms, shipping methods, because obviously someone might have a branch in Manchester and a branch in London, and obviously the preference would be to, ship from our Manchester warehouse for the Manchester office and our London office for their London office. Yeah. Okay. Are they on a particular route? Because obviously when we sort orders, we can allocate stock and prepare picking notes by route if we want to. Especially that's more important if you do your own deliveries, because obviously that's the most likely time you'll stack them up by route. Opening time, closing time, special instructions, truck size, yeah, and then you can obviously see just the transactions that are against this particular delivery address, yeah, rather than kind of overall. Um, okay, what have we got here? We've got service contracts. Um, so you can have as many service contracts as you want. Against behind each one, you can have a lot of equipment, yeah, and obviously an item number and a serial number. But that's basically it, yeah. That comes into play when you log a case, yeah, and you can actually pick which service contract, yeah, and it'll default the service level agreement based on that. Obviously, look at the CRM demo video to, see case management and cases and service level agreements, yeah. But effectively, that allows us to keep, information on our contracts. Obviously, Google Maps, we can show a map of wherever it is. We also have consignment stock. Okay, so this is where you put your stock at your customer site, yeah, and then what happens is they obviously use it, yeah, and then tell you what they've used, and then you invoice it, and obviously then you maybe replenish it as well. Um, Before you'd kind of have to set up a warehouse, yeah, but obviously if you've got a lot of customers that are using that, yeah, that's a bit impractical, really. So what we've done here is we allow you to decide which warehouse is a consignment warehouse. All customers' consignments go there, but they're all flagged as which customer actually has them. So if I pick on a warehouse here, I can see um, that this customer has these items on consignment, and they've got 2 of those left, 8 of those left, and 2 of those left. Average costing or standard costing, yeah, you can see that basically the total value of stock at cost that they've got of ours is 770. Yeah, you can also see a detailed list as well, so you can see that okay, on this item they had 3. We've invoiced them for 1, so they've got 2 left. Yeah. Okay, and you can also see on there's also printed reports here, yeah, which means that I can tell the customer. So let's just print these so you can see. Okay, so the customer consignment summary. Okay, I'm going to say that's our internal one that shows the costs. Yeah, but this one is the one we could present to the customer that says these are the items, they're the quantities you've got left, and what it does is it looks at the sell price for that customer, yeah, their sell price, yeah, not just the kind of wholesale or retail price or whatever, the price that they would pay for those items, yeah, and it actually sort of says the value of consignment stock you've got from your point of view, Mr. Customer, is 1260. So obviously our cost price is 770, yeah, but we know that we can actually tell them what stock they should have left, yeah, and what value that stock is at their buy price. Okay. Head office lookup, again, in the setup tab we saw you can assign it to a head office, and these just allows you to link other customer accounts to this one. And when you do a statement run, you can do it by head office if you wanted to. So it sends the head office the statement rather than the actual individual accounts. Okay, so that's a customer account. Yeah, from here I could write a letter, I could send a statement, yeah, I could do a sales order or a quote. I can do basically just about nearly anything from here. If you The same goes to the prospect. If you look at prospects, yeah, and open up a prospect, you'll see the form is exactly the same, just with less tabs on. So you haven't got the transaction tab. Sorry, you've got the transaction tab for quotes, but you haven't got all the other kind of tabs related to a customer account. Okay, so just get rid of that one and open up my customer form again. Okay, let's come out of there. Okay. Okay, if I was going to create a new customer, yeah, I go to the new section up here and I go new customer. And then I'm kind of presented with a wizard. So I can create it with the same billing address as the same ship to. Yeah, I can obviously create a customer with a different ship to address. Yeah, and obviously I can just create a new shipping information. So if I type in United Kingdom here and type a name, yeah, okay, like new customer, and obviously Mr. Contact at that customer, postcode, I don't know, SK153EP, for example. Um, then I'm asked, are they a consumer or a business? Okay, this is more important, I guess, for on the web shop as well. If you say someone, are you a company or you're an individual? Because obviously we can change your tax code if you ask them for their registration number. But here, what it's doing is it's saying, are they a retail customer? Like, you know, we sell them, they use it, yeah, or are they a business to customer, where, you know, we're more business to business transactions. Um, and depending on which we are, behind here we have class templates, yeah, and in these class templates, yeah, they decide what defaults, yeah. So someone in the United Kingdom is a business customer. If we go next, yeah, we'll see that been given them sterling. We've got the business payment terms, the wholesale price, UK standard rate tax, which warehouse, all this kind of stuff. If I just go back and I change this to France, for example, okay, what you'll know now, okay, is that this has changed to euros, yeah, and this has changed to EC for sales, yeah, among other things, yeah. But you can decide for each country and each type of customer, yeah, exactly how they're set up. Um, okay, so um, we've also got, if you look at the United States, I don't know if you noticed, yeah, United States of America, let's say next. You'll notice that the address is different. Yeah, so now we have the address, the city, state, and postcode. And if I type in 90210, yeah, and press tab, so it'll automatically put in the city, state, and the county because we have in our database it knows that those are related. It's not the same for the UK because obviously it's the only data that's actually copyrighted by the Royal Mail. So you'd have to buy the database in, or you'd have to kind of pay for a service to use the postcode facility from a UK point of view. So just go back here and change this to United Kingdom. Okay, and say next. You'll notice that now the address is city, county, postcode rather than city, state, and then obviously the county afterwards. Okay. Let's have a look at a quote now. Okay, so I'm going to do a new quote from up here. Yeah, so if I want to look at outstanding quotes, I can just click on Find Quotes. Here's all my outstanding quotes. Obviously, I can open one up, but let's do a new one, and I'll pick on my toy customer. All right, here's the header information, like, you know, what's the customer order number if there was one, what's their references. Do I want to see any history? Do I want to see who the sales rep against this is? You can put multiple sales reps against it, and you can decide to split it differently between each sales rep. It defaults in the main sales rep against the actual customer. Sales order history obviously is the history of the items. Okay, let's pick a couple of items. Yeah, I'll just pick on these two here. I've got things like commission tab, so it sort of tells me okay, the sales rep commission is 10%, he gets 100% of that, so I think the sales commission on this one is based on turnover rather than profit. Yeah, and you've got a profit tab to sort of tell you how much you're actually making. If it's an average cost item, it use average. If it's a standard, it use standard. Yeah, okay. We also have other things down here, like the history. Yeah, availability is not so important on a quote, because obviously you're not allocating stock, and I'll come back to that in a minute when I do a sales order. The nice thing here is you can see the history of the item. Have we invoiced this item to them before? Because obviously they're saying to them, well, don't pay 30 quid, pay 20 quid. Yeah, we said, well, you just had them last time. Yeah, you had them on the 15th, and you paid £30 for them. Yeah, okay, substitutes. when we've not got enough of these or whatever. Do you want a 40 gig hard drive instead? Okay, I'll add it to the order. Accessories, if there are any cross-sell, upsell. So people that buy that item also buy these items. Yeah, so you can ask about them. An extended description, more information, and who your main suppliers are. In user role as well, you can decide what tabs a user can see, as well as obviously what menu items they can see and what fields they can see. Good thing about a stock item is that I can edit the description as well as I go. I can also put free text items on here, yeah, and say text item. It's as simple as that. If you can obviously spell, yeah, might help. You can obviously use Control Right to get straight to the price, yeah, and you've got other information on this kind of thing. Say it's a dropship item. What's the tax code? What's the nominal code? Is there any discount? Any coupon discount? Yeah, and item line. And what's the due date? If you don't use the overall due date, then obviously you're happy with it. Let's say, and then okay, I don't put any price quantity on that one. Well, I'll put 10. There you go. So I'll say print. I've got a pro forma or quote layout. I can use either. I'm going to print preview it rather than email it. But there you go. Puts your logo and address on. Puts that. You just set it up once when you set up the company, and then it automatically goes across all documents. So it saves you a lot of hassle trying to set up layouts. Of course, you can amend the layout to be whatever you want it to be, but obviously it's the time taken to do it. Customer name and address, their delivery address, their customer PO, their terms, their delivery method, the items. Yeah, and if you look here, there's the total or whatever. Great, so that can be emailed off as well. Just click here, email, boom, away it goes. Okay, alright, so you can duplicate this quote. So you can copy it if you want to. You can copy it to the same customer or a different customer. And you can also convert this quote very, very easily. So let's say I save and close that. It's gone out to the customer. I go to find it again, yeah, and say, oh, okay, yeah, there's the quote. Okay, and I'd say now I'm going to convert it to a sales order, and it's as easy as that. So now it's a sales order. Okay, so we'll do a new sales order anyway. But if you looked at the CRM demo video, you can see that obviously from lead to prospect to customer is very simple, or opportunity, yeah, and obviously from opportunity quote to order to invoice is very, very straightforward on here as well. Okay, so let's do an order. Let's do a new order for my toy customer. Okay, great. Put the date on. The customer purchase order number is verbal, let's say. And the terms, obviously, the delivery address. Okay, so let's just pick on one simple item here. Okay, and what I can see here is, yeah, we have two types of people that run this system. One that have accurate stock control, yeah, where if the system says they have 10, then usually they do have 10, yeah, and they can promise the stock. Or we just have kind of like, someone that kind of knows they've got about 10 in. Yeah, they may have had some deliveries in, but haven't quite logged them off the system yet. Yeah, and just they want to sell. Yeah, so we have ignore stock levels as an option, and obviously not ignore stock levels, which means I allocate and I can only sell what I got. Okay, so down below, this is the tab for the person that just wants to do the order and wants stock control, but kind of doesn't do it kind of properly. So I can see that I've got 76 in stock, 30 committed, 46 are free, how many are on back order and how many are on purchase order. Yeah, and I can roughly know that that's fine. Okay, but if I'm the kind of person that wants to allocate stock, okay, then I'm a salesman and I want to promise, an amount of stock. So I know that, okay, 76 are in stock, 19 are allocated. Who are they allocated to? Just in case I could steal any. Okay, 57 are free. Okay, 12 are unallocated, so they need to be allocated to orders, in the allocation process. And I've got 300 on purchase order. I could just say, well, when are those coming in? Okay, so I can see that, well, it should be today. It should have been today or yesterday. I should have had 100 in on that order and 200 in on that order. Okay, so the ability to allocate, and promise stock, is obviously live. So if we've got kind of 10 salespeople on the phone, literally as they allocate this line, and promise 10, it's going to take 10. So someone else cannot get that 10. yeah, if they wanted to promise it. Okay, so let's just go back to my inventory item line. Other types of items, yeah, I've got a computer type kit. Okay, okay, I've only got one. That's why it popped up straight away. Yeah, otherwise it would have listed them and I could have picked one. So kit items are a collection of other items. So I can in the kit item I say what motherboard do you want, and I say obviously I put three options in here. That's less 50 quid, that's more 50 quid. So for an extra £50, Mr. Customer, you could have the dual core one. Okay, great, we'll add that. What CPU do you want? It's got 3000. Do you want the dual core? Yeah, okay, we'll add that as well. And you can just see it kind of asks you the questions, and obviously you say yes or no, and that then decides the actual cost. You can obviously override this cost as well if you wanted to, and say, well, I'll do it for £1,000 for you, and then just automatically adjusts all the prices. I can decide to put this on the quote as a kit price, yeah, or an item price. And what that means is if I did item price, it would just drop these all in as individual items. Yeah, but if I do a kit price, then what you can see is it just puts it on as one line at £1,000, but underneath, yeah, we're going to pick all the individual components. Yeah, okay. Okay, other type of item we've got is like a shirt, but these are kind of attribute type items. Yeah, so it's where I've got for shirts, for example, I've got the size and colour. But you can actually have even more attributes than this. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could have as many attributes as you want. But obviously t-shirts and shirts or whatever, sizes and colours. And in sizes I've got large, medium, small, and extra large. And obviously in colours I've got there. That one's in red because I've got no stock. Yeah, that one obviously I could say, well, I'm having 10 of those. Actually, I'll have one of those. So you want a large red, yeah, okay, and you want two medium red, and you want a one medium white. There you go. So say okay, and it drops three in. Yeah, drops the three in, puts their pricing and all that kind of stuff. You can see down the bottom here, you've got a summary, a freight amount, delivery amount, another amount which you want to add to it for whatever reason, the VAT, yeah, the total. You can also add payments against this if you wanted to. So if you wanted to, let's say I could go into payment tab here, and I could actually put the receipt against it. Yeah, and if it was a credit card, yeah, I could actually, and obviously I'm linked properly and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, then I could actually enter the credit card details and authorise from there if you wanted to. So let's undo that. Go back to that. Again, the sales rep history, audit trail of who changed the order. I can attach documents to this. What's the sales order history? So I can sort of see for this these 17-inch wheels that are on there, when they've been buying them or whatever, and I can add to the order quite easily. We have an order template, yeah, which you can pick, and then you can load it up and say, okay, the default quantity is on this template is this, and it's just an easy way of kind of doing regular orders for people. So I can either do it via the add button, yeah, or I can sort of say, well, okay, those two there, yeah, apply to the order, and it'll add those two to the list as well. I can change the quantity as well. We've also got something called while search. Okay, so what this does, yeah, is it allows you to, if I typed 80 and disk in there, yeah, it wouldn't come up with anything. It's sort of saying nothing matches, yeah. But if I just typed 80 in, for example, yeah, then I have got something that matches. Okay, but when you're searching in here, you might want to put like, okay, it's got 80 in it, and it's got disk in it. Okay, so search, yeah, and then it will bring up, yeah. So it's looking at strings, say something with 80 in it and something with disk in it. Yeah. So below here is a normal while search, yeah, but this kind of goes beyond that. Because what you're saying even on the while search is, well, they've got to be together, yeah, which is what you'd expect from a normal search, and obviously that's a kind of wilder search, if you know what I mean. Okay, from here I can go to the customer account. I can print off the pick note from here if I wanted to. Let me just okay. Let's take a sec there. Go to that and go to order picking ticket. Okay, so again, two types of customer. I've got the customer that does an order. He might actually print the picking note here and now. yeah, and then he might actually go and pick the goods, yeah, and then actually put them in a box and then come back here and convert it to an invoice. Okay, so, but then we have the other type of customer that may do, I don't know, hundreds of orders a day, yeah, the salespeople put the orders on, someone in the warehouse prints off the picking notes, yeah, via kind of batch picking here, yeah, or and then the warehouse then confirm pick, yeah, and then accounts uh, print the invoices, yeah, and post the invoices. So we can cope with kind of a very small type company operation to a very obviously very big one. So let's have a look at if I was going to do a simple one on this. I would go to print. I could do the packing note order acknowledgement as well here if I wanted to. So we'll just print preview this. Okay. So what you can see here is the picking ticket. Yeah, there's all the items on the picking ticket. There's all the components to pick. That's how many to pick. Okay, so what I can see is that some of these items are not in stock or whatever, and they've not been allocated. But the stuff that has been allocated, yeah, will be picked. And obviously here the picker confirms how many, yeah, that he wants to pick. How many he has picked. Sorry. Okay. Right. So that then you could convert to a sales invoice. Okay. And it's as simple as click the button, convert to sales invoice, and then it'll say, do you want to view it? And I'll say yes. And now this changed from a sales order to an invoice. And you can see on the item line here, you can see the source document is actually the sales order number. Okay, and then obviously what you do is you can print off the invoice, yeah, and then you can save and post, and obviously that will, well, on this one, because some of these are not allocated, what it will actually do is it will create a back order for the difference. Okay, all right, so let's just kind of get rid of these. Okay, so now that was running through an order from literally doing it, printing the pick note, going picking them, coming back, yeah, saying okay, and then raising the actual invoice yourself, and even posting it yourself. Um, for a bigger company, what they do is the salespeople or whatever would put all the orders on, okay, and then someone may come in to print picking note, and there they can see all the fully allocated orders and go select all, right, let's pick them, yeah. Or they might kind of then start looking at the partially allocated orders, the fully allocated orders, or just unprinted picking notes, yeah, and say away we go. And then what happens is they can confirm pick, or yeah, someone might actually go into the allocate free stock routine first and say, okay, I want to do this by customer rank, by customer, by sales, or by route. If you're stacking up one of your own trucks, yeah, you probably want to kind of sort of say do this by route. Yeah, so you're just looking at all the orders for a particular route, yeah, which obviously then you pick all those, you pack all those, and you put them all on the truck. Yeah, but I'll just do this by sales order. Yeah, I'll say right, everything that's kind of there. So these are all the outstanding sales order item lines that are not in picking. Yeah, so once they've had the picking note printed, they're in picking. Yeah, so in theory they're kind of going out there, they're being boxed up, and then someone's going to come back and say, yeah, I picked these or I haven't. So this is the stage before that. Yeah, and I can see down here what is allocated to these orders. Yeah, so I can see that most of these do have allocations. Okay, now I can deallocate and reallocate. Yeah, so one of the things you could do is I could deallocate everything, and then I can drag an order up the list, yeah, and then say, right, reallocate based on that. Or I could do a sort on customer, or a sort on rank as well as the route or whatever, yeah, and then I print off the pick notes, yeah, from here. So effectively all these are going to be printed off, yeah, for picking, yeah. Good if you had a delivery of stock in, and you know, and you want to see, well, I want to allocate that to the outstanding orders. So this is a routine that you can run. Yeah, say right, who's waiting for it? Yeah, allocate the stock out that we've got free. Yeah, to the actual orders, and just print pick notes for the ones that you can fully allocate, or you're okay to part ship or whatever you want to do. Okay, right. So then what happens is the picking notes out there. Yeah, they're picking the goods. Yeah, and then they come back at some point and say, yeah, we picked some. Okay, so we have a confirmed pick routine. And what this does is it allows them to just go tick, tick, tick. Yeah, that one, we picked all that one, we picked all that one. Ah, but that one there, yeah, for example, we picked it, yeah, but we could only find 4,900. Yeah, so if that's okay with me, then what's going to happen here is, yeah, I'm going to produce an invoice from this. I'm just going to tick these ones so we can follow that one through. So that's sales order number 6. So I say OK, and yep, I just want to do it for the selected orders. But the thing is that most orders will be picked OK. So you just go tick 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 tick. Yeah, say OK. Right, they're all ready to be printed on the invoice front now. So then someone comes in to print invoice, and um, effectively there's our one there. Yeah, it's now ready to have the invoice printed. There's quite a lot here, so someone in the invoice department would probably just go bang, yeah, select all, yeah, go OK and print them all, yeah, or email them all off. Yeah, the emailing them is the most likely. So if I say OK, most people would just go email, or they would go lowest cost route. Yeah, so lowest cost route is all about if they've got an email address, hey, we'll use it. If they haven't got an email address, we'll fax it. If they haven't got a fax number, well, we'll print it off and send it in the post then. Yeah, so I'll just say close on that. And then obviously once they've checked them, they're okay. Yeah, and then we can go into post invoice. Yeah, and obviously we'd go again, select all, bang, and say OK, and that'll post all those invoices. So we can work in individually on a sales order, yeah, or we can work in a batch. Yeah, and there are different routines, yeah, for different types of company. It depends on how you want to work and what procedures you follow. Yeah, because another way of working is you can go into like new invoice, pick your sales orders, and then say OK, and that converts those orders to invoices. Yeah, without having to go through the confirm pick routine. Yeah, so it's just different methods for different people, but we can cope with a lot of different things. Okay, so we've looked at the new order and the different item types. We also have obviously credit control as a status. If you set the parameters, so look down here, and you look at preferences, you have an option here to require credit approval. Okay, require pick note. So that means we have to print a pick note to actually move it onto an invoice. Yeah, ignore stock levels. That's the thing I was on about earlier. About do I want to allocate stock I've got, or am I okay to just put the orders on and go through? Because I want to keep stock control, but I don't keep accurate stock control. If you know what I mean. Okay, so when things go over credit limits, orders will automatically put it on credit hold. Yeah, and here's a way of actually approving them. Yeah, so you can sort of say, yeah, that's okay, or whatever. But it looks at the balance on the account plus the outstanding balance on sales orders, and then it starts accumulating the sales order value that you're actually doing now when you're actually doing a sales order. So if, let's say, halfway through a sales order you pass your credit limit, it'd put the whole order on hold. Okay, let's just go back to order again, because I just wanted to show you something else on here, which was to do with drop shipping. Okay, so let's say I've got one of those, and if it was default a drop ship item, yeah, that would automatically be ticked. Yeah, but by me ticking it manually now, it won't allocate our stock in the warehouse. Yeah, what will happen here is that it classes it as a drop ship, and I can do the drop ship here and now if I want to. Yeah, or what I can do is I can do the drop shipping supplier module, yeah, as a batch. Yeah, so I can do lots of drop ships all together. Yeah, so if I click on create drop ship, yeah, it puts in the item. Okay, it's not got a default supplier, so I'll just pick one. It's put a price in. Okay, so when I say create drop ship now, yeah, it will create a purchase order for me. Yeah, so I'll say yes, I'll view it. Okay, let's just pick up the purchase order. There's the purchase order for the one item, and there's the delivery address of the customer. And obviously, then you print your purchase order and do whatever you do with it. But obviously, that's the supplier demo video. Okay, so that item has been drop shipped, and you can have a mixture on here. You can have some items that come from stock, some items that are drop ship. You've also got stuff that is special order. Yeah, so if the item's marked as special order, so a quick look, just open the item up and go to setup. Yeah, if the item's marked as special order, Yeah, if that was ticked, then it defaults to drop ship when you do a sales order for an item. But if you tick the special order item, it means that you can actually make a purchase order for those special order items. Actually, when you're doing the sales order, if you wanted to, good thing about that is things like that I can get quickly, but I don't want to stock. Yeah, so and I'm not drop shipping it from the supplier to the customer. Yeah, I'm actually ordering it so it comes into us, then it goes out. So that's the difference between special order and drop ship. Obviously, I can duplicate the sales order if I wanted to, and I could bring another sales order from somewhere else. I could import a quote. I can also drill down the customer account from here as well. So that's a sales order very simply. Yeah, and hopefully that gives you a good idea of what you can do with a sales order. Okay, so what else have we got? We've got returns. Yeah, so maybe a customer's returning something. Um, so if I kind of I could pick on a particular invoice that I've done, or I could just pick on a particular customer and say, right, okay, this is it. Um, Pick on an item. Okay, you're returning one of those. Yeah, and okay, I'll print off an RMA. Yeah, and send it to them. So send your goods back with that RMA number on it. Okay, now hopefully at some point the goods come back in. Yeah, and you can either open it up and convert it to a credit memo, or you can just go a new credit memo. So I'll just close that down because the most likely thing you do. So you say open RMA, which is that one. Which is the one we just did, and it says, okay, so one of them, is it good or defective? Okay, so if it's good, it'll put it back into the good location, and you can and sell it again. Obviously, if it's defective, it'll put it into the defective location, so it's not part of your normal selling stock. And here I can decide, am I going to credit it or what am I going to do? Yeah, so I'll just say, yeah, we're going to credit it. Yeah, and then it's up to me if I want to go and ship a replacement. Yeah, then obviously I'd do a new sales order for the replacement. Okay, and obviously that's when you I'll print preview it rather than email it to them, so you can see it. Okay, there you go. Okay, um, what else have we got? Batching on a receipt. Okay, so let's batch on a receipt to this particular customer. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put £100 on because I have no idea what they're outstanding on their account, and I'll just put paid instant, whatever it might be. So it's going to go into that bank account, and obviously the base value is that. Okay, so here now are all my outstanding credit notes, yeah, which I could take as well. There's a 43p on there, and there's all my outstanding invoices. Yeah, so I'll just allocate it against the first one. So it's a part allocation of £135. Yeah, so I say save and close. If I just say save, yeah, then you can see a journal. Okay. Oops, sorry, wrong button. You can see how easily you can get to the customer detail if you wanted to. There is no journal on the allocation details because there is no settlement discount or loss and gain. Yeah, but there will be a journal on the actual receipt there. So if you wanted to have a look, you could. Yeah, so you can see that the £100 went to the bank account, £100 went on debtors control. Okay, so if I show you a receipt against a euro customer, okay, and let's just put in here, I don't know, €100, and we'll change this to something ludicrous like €4 to the pound. If I was going to put it into my sterling bank account, yeah, then it sort of gives me the base equivalent, £25. I can also put bank charges here as well if I wanted to, yeah, but obviously, or I could just put it into my euro bank account. Yeah, I'll leave it to my sterling bank account. But the norm is if you receive a lot of euros, you'd probably have a euro bank account, yeah, and receipt them into there. Otherwise, you get charged lots of money. Okay, so €100. Okay, and I'm going to allocate it against this particular transaction here. And when I say save, yeah, I probably will get a journal now because our system, what it does is the invoice always keeps its base currency value, yeah, and the receipt will always keep its base currency value. It means you can revalue your debtors whenever you want to see what might be the loss or gain. It's only when you allocate them together, yeah, that you actually get a loss or gain. So if I look at the journal, you can see that it's on £25 basically as a loss or gain, because obviously the difference between the exchange rate of €100 on the receipt as opposed to the €100 on the invoice, yeah, there's obviously £25 difference. So we take our actual loss on gains as we allocate stuff together. So that's obviously very, very good from a foreign currency point of view. Okay, let's go into credit control, yeah, and overall age debt. We can see graphically what we're owed. Yeah, if I just zoom the transactions up, I can see this by due date, document date, or calendar month. I can change the brackets if I want to, from 7 days to 30 days or whatever. The base date for aging, I would usually sort by the biggest and oldest debt first, and I would say, right, that's the first customer I'm calling. Yeah. And it loads up the customer form at the credit receivables tab, and then we can do what we did before, which was send copy invoices and all that kind of stuff, and then close that one down obviously when I'm done with it, and I'm on to the next one. Yeah, so pedal power now, 5,500 quid, and again same sort of thing. Yeah, right, zoom this up, right, let's chase all these invoices. Yeah, that's a very, very, very nice way of chasing your outstanding debt. You can also print these. You can print them as a summary. You can, whatever sort you do on here, yeah, is the sort that you'll get on the report, and you can have that as a due date report as well as a document date type report, summaried or detailed, yeah, with the individual transactions if you want to. Statement runs. Sorry, payment promise dates. This is more about if you've been debt chasing and you've kind of put payment promise dates on transactions, yeah, then this allows you to see all the outstanding transactions that are still outstanding that have got a payment promise date against them that is past to do today's date. So you put in here as of today's date. Yeah, you can also assign different debt chases to different accounts, and these people have promised to pay me but haven't paid me. Yeah, before today's date. So I can chase using that method if I want to. Statement runs are so easy. Yeah, today's date for aging. Yeah, there they all are. You'd click on the whole lot. You'd say OK. Yeah, you'd say finish. Then you'd say, well, I don't want this, I just want the normal statement. Yeah, and I would usually say lowest cost route. Yeah, and that would email the ones that can email. If I can't, I've got email address, it'll fax them. But if I just kind of preview them, for example, you get an idea. But I'd usually just email those off. Great thing about emailing them is it doesn't cost you anything, so you could email them every 2 weeks or every week if you wanted to. Yeah, so it just does a statement for every account, and you can just see it's got the summary analysis underneath. And another nice feature is the debtor letter run. Yeah, just before we go into there, it allows you to specify notes for particular days. So like 60 days overdue, for example, you type this stuff in here, this text, yeah, and what it does is anyone that's got a balance, a transaction over 60 days, it'll get the 60-day text. It means you can do one letter run, basically, and depending on how old the oldest debt is that's not in dispute, yeah, it'll pick the correct text. So you can just do one run. Some systems have got a problem of you have to do kind of like a run of 30 days, a run of 60 days, and they might have transactions in 30 and 60. Yeah, well, this is kind of dead easy. Yeah, it says right as of today's date. Yeah, these are all the people. They're going to get a 60-day letter. Yeah. Okay, so if there were some people with 30 days, their oldest debt was 30 days, or so their oldest debt was 90 days, you could have different letters for different periods, and it picks the correct text. Yeah, so it's just one run for you, so it's dead easy. We also have, for people that use settlement discount a lot, we've got something called what do I owe statement. Okay, so you pick your customer, yeah, and then what it does is it lists all the transactions, yeah, that are outstanding, what settlement discount is due. So as of today's date, if you pay me, Mr. Customer, or as of tomorrow's date, or whatever it is, yeah, ignoring disputed transactions, yeah, then you can actually you can pay us 24,184 because you can take these discounts. You can also allow them to take a few more discounts if you want to, but what it's essentially saying is you've passed that, and then you can print a receipt, print a statement from there, email them a statement to say, well, if you pay us on Friday, you can pay that amount of money. Yeah, and there's the settlement discounts you can take, and you can also do the create the receipt here and now as well, and it'll automatically allocate against these transactions and those particular settlement discounts taken as well. Just a quick way, an easy way of controlling settlement discount, because a lot of customers call up and say, what settlement discount am I due? And that obviously deals with that. Okay. Um, okay. What else have we got in here? We've got sales reps. Okay, so if we look at a sales rep rather than create one, and I'll look at this sales rep here, for example. We can set sales reps up with a name and address. The sales reps could also be agents. Okay, so effectively, we could actually post a bill to their account, yeah, as a kind of self-billing to sort of say this is the commission we owe you, and we'll do it as part of a payment run. Yeah, but obviously salespeople can also be employees. So that's why you've got this kind of contact notes and activities stuff against them. It's just that if they were an agent, yeah, rather than an actual sales employee, yeah, you can still deal with them in the same way. All right, so the setup, the commission, what's it based on? Is it based on sales or profit? Yeah, they have a territory code, and if we want to create a bill for them, yeah, we can click that and actually put their a supplier name in there. Okay, but for this one, I don't want to create a bill because they're an employee. Okay, contact details as well, link transactions. So these are all the open quotes that are linked to them. There's the orders and there's the ledger or whatever. So these are all the invoices and all that kind of stuff that is linked to them as a rep, yeah, across all customers. Who's their linked customers? What's their linked opportunities? Categories. So if it's just not kind of like 1%, like 10% across all sales based on profit or whatever it is, you can actually specify individual categories and specify a different percent if you want to. And here we have the commissions that are been paid but also unpaid. So these are the commissions we actually owe this particular rep for. So I can see that if on this invoice here, okay, well, that's obviously a lot of euros. Pick a sterling one. Yeah, £127. And we can see that £10 commission is outstanding on that particular transaction. Okay. Another nice thing about the salesman is because you saw on the orders and the quotes, you can put the salesman on there or multiple salesmen. We could actually process their commission this way as well. Okay, so if I do a new commission run as of today's date, and I'll just pick on them all. Why not? This lists all the commission that's due, yeah, by each salesperson. Okay. So for example, here's an invoice. Yeah, it's for the commission total on it's £10. If I click on there, I can see the items, and you know, it was £90. It's applied to the sales value. That's how we came up with that value. So I'll tick on. I can take the credit notes as well. Another good thing about this is that if you only pay salesmen when a customer's actually paid, yeah, you could sort by outstanding. So obviously you don't want to pay anything that's sorry, you do want to pay the stuff that's not outstanding, yeah, and obviously these that are still, you know, outstanding, yeah, you obviously don't want to pay those. And so you can see that's for sales rep 1, you know, obviously you can add a few for sales rep 2 or whatever, yeah, and so then you say next, it summarises them and say next, yeah, okay, great. And then if I refresh that list, hang on, you can see there's our commission. Yeah, it summarises it for us, and if I do a print, yeah, it could actually do a remittance. Yeah, so if there were an agent, you could actually say, well, that's why we're paying you this. Yeah, because obviously, you know, these are the commissions or whatever. Yeah, so those are negative ones because they're credits. You can see on this one, yeah, we're paying you on these invoices here, these amounts. Okay. That's a nice way. Obviously, it's a nice way to control salespeople and also agents, and obviously you can an easy way to process the commissions, assuming that you pay people based on profit or sales turnover. Okay. What else have we got here? We've got contras. So if you want to do contras between customer records and supplier records, dead easy way of doing it. Obviously, you pick your bank account that you want to try to do it between. You pick on your customer. Yeah, let's say Toy Prospect or whatever, and let's pick on. Obviously, we should have one called Toy Prospect on the supplier side as well. I'll have to pick someone else because they've got no transactions on there. And then what you do is you just pick your transactions, you know, that you want to try and match. Yeah, obviously there might be a difference, so what it'll do is it'll just part allocate one. Yeah, so obviously that's dead straightforward to do. Coupons. Okay, so these are kind of nice. They stem from the e-commerce side, but you know they're just as useful for mailing normal customers. So if I look at a coupon I've already got, yeah, I say that there's a code for the coupon. Is it against orders or products? Yeah, because it might be that I have a special on calculators or whatever it might be, but it might be just that across all orders, yeah, you can have this discount. There's a discount. There's a start and end date. Does it expire by first use of of any customer? Yeah, so obviously it's just for what first come first serve. Expires after one usage by each customer. So obviously one customer can use it once, and expires after a number of uses. So you might say, well, there's 1,000. The first 1,000 orders will get this discount, otherwise you won't. And these are the customers, so we just say include all customers, or you just include some customers. So that's quite nice. So when you do a sales order, or if they do it online, they can enter the coupon. Yeah, but I'll just show you an order I've already got. Just pick on that one. You can see there's a coupon code they can enter. Yeah, and obviously that will then discount the actual those coupons I showed you are expired. Basically, that's why they're not coming up. Okay, we have other things on here like voiding receipts, refunds. Yeah, we've got Intrastat. So in here, these are all the transactions that are to Europe. Yeah, and if I look at one particular transaction here and the detail behind it, I can see that okay, these were for bullets and handguns. Yeah, I can see the commodity code automatically brought in from the stock item, the type of transaction and the terms of delivery. Yeah, the supplemental units, net weight. If you have to do Intrastat, this is a dream. Yeah, because Intrastat's a serious pain. Yeah, so all you got to do is confirm the details. Yeah, which most of them default in anyway. Yeah, and once you've confirmed the details, you say OK, and then you can reconcile it in accounting. So that's about that. Okay, we've got a section for reports. Yeah, got a dashboard for reports. Obviously, quite a lot of reports, but for example, I've got like a sales daybook. Yeah, same print dialogue comes up. Yeah, where you can obviously you've got criteria as well, like document date, customer code, period code, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, if I just print it as a whole, it might take a little while. 'Cause it's got a lot, but hey, the currency, the period, the date, the customer name, the invoice code, reference one and two, obviously the net amount and gross amount. Okay, that's basically it. Yeah, there are obviously other things in here. Yeah, but that's trying to give you a flavour of the customer module. Thank you for listening.